Welcome to episode 2. In this video we'll take a look at chapters and sections and how you can refer to those efficiently. The document class report has some inherent properties, so let's view this chapter 4 in our source code. Now there are a couple of things to notice in this page. The first thing to look at is the first line. Here the chapter is specified. So with the command with the backslash, the chapter is specified between parentheses, which open and close here, and in between is the name of the chapter. This is also given a label, but we will take a look into that later. Then some text is written to introduce the chapter, and then the section is specified. And you see that there is no space in between the section and the beginning of the figure, but still LaTeX knows how to take the separation between the section and the figure itself. It doesn't matter if you put, for example, 5 or 6 spaces in between, LaTeX will choose the distance itself. So these are the first 2 levels of section headers that we have within LaTeX. There's a third one, which I can specify right here, and we call that subsection. And we, for example, call it graphing. And so if we now compile the document, we'll see that another section is added. And so this is the third layer of depth within this report. So we first have the chapter, then the section, and then the subsection. And as you see, the numbering is done automatically for you without specifying it here. To add to that, if you, for example, would add another chapter before this chapter, then automatically this chapter would be chapter number 5. So let's play around with this nice feature of LaTeX that it will help you to automatically number the chapters. But before we can actually have an idea of the true potential of this feature, let's first read through this paragraph together. I can simply refer to cref fig line all metals with this function called cleveref. The function automatically writes the type of object you are referring to, for example, figure, section, equation, or table. Cref ChapterReferencing is an instance where the reference is made at the beginning of the sentence, and therefore the function is spelled with a capital C. So what you see in the compiled document is something completely different. You see the sentence, but then instead of cref fig line all metals, you see figure 2, which is this one. And as you can imagine, if you would enter another figure above this, it would be figure 3, and the reference in text would automatically change with it. The same goes for chapters. So here I refer to this chapter, ChapterReferencing, in the text, and here is the label. So this label specifies which chapter this is referring to. Now, I advise you to always use these indicators at the beginning of your labels, because in that way, when you start writing a reference, you can simply say chap, and you can already see all the options that are there. So you won't at any point have a mistake in what you're referring to. As you can imagine, this is not a standard feature that LaTeX offers. It's imported in the paper.st, and we can find it as cleveref. And here you see which package we are using. Now, this optional command, no abref, stands for no abbreviation. So I choose to not have any abbreviations. If you would remove this optional command and we recompile the document, you'll see that by default all the references will be made with an abbreviation. So now, just for the purpose of seeing what the effect will be when we add another chapter before this chapter, I added the chapter benefits of automatic referencing. So let's see what happens when we compile this file. So what we see is we add another chapter. This is now chapter 4. And if we scroll down the blank page, we'll see that this now is chapter 5. And all the sections will change with it. The same goes for here, chapter 5, because this cleveref refers to this chapter. And as this chapter changes number, the references will as well. One last important note that I would like to make is the fact that you should never add a section to a chapter if there is only one section. Similarly, if there is only one subsection nested in a section, that's also something that should be avoided. So in every scenario, please only add sections if you have at least 2, and the same goes for subsections. Only add them if you have at least 2. And this is a remark not made specifically by me, I'm just the messenger, but there have been a lot of professors that have addressed this important style convention. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video.